Hello, and welcome to an automation car build, I guess. I don't know what I'm building yet. I've decided to make a randomizer, and I figured I'd put that to use. So, I've got it on screen. Good. I'm sort of figuring this out as I go along, but in theory, if I press like backspace now, I've got this as like a public thing. You can use it. There's probably a link in the description if I remember. I'm just going to spam backspace a couple times and see what I get. A 1950 family utility budget. Oh no. Also, why is it showing a different thing on screen? I've just realised. Oh, that's interesting. It's different. Oh, you know what? I'm better with doing the thing on screen. 1960 GT car. That sounds way nicer. Um, yeah. Let's do that then. Alright then, so here's the car that I've built. Originally I did do like a sort of live build and commentated as I built. As it turns out, I'm not very good at that. When it came to the editing, it was sort of 40 minutes of me going umming and ahhing and then sort of speaking but not really. And yeah, just generally I didn't think it made for a particularly good viewing experience. It would have taken ages to edit and to make nice and concise to sort of show my thoughts and everything. So I figured I'd just commentate over it. Took me about 40 minutes. I think the video length was 35, I guess. I tried what body was it first? It was the Corvette C2 body. If it loads, unfortunately, we've just gone a bunch of 93 2.1 meter coupes. Here we go. Bit weird that it took so long. Just annoying, I guess. Yeah, originally I tried this body, but since we ended up with the GT category, you need 4 seats. So I had to bite the bullet, have a shorter wheelbase. But this body supports 4 seats. Bit weird that this one does. You would have thought it would have the room for it at the back there, but apparently not. I guess because just of how far back the body is, you can't really get away with it. Although this isn't that much better with some of the morphs you can do. You can put the front of the cabin way back. But just it's a decent enough GT car, I suppose. Let's get to that first. 154, and that is the best stat, so it is decently optimized for it. I haven't checked in any other ones. Seems to do alright once you start averaging it out. It goes down a bit, but goes up a GT premium, I suppose, because some of the poorer markets. It just does. How does it do in like through in here alone? Quite bad actually. Yeah, really bad in through in here alone. But yeah, let's sort of go through it. So chassis wise, aluminium panels. You need to get prestige up. Really, monocoque chassis. I decided to galvanise it. I didn't think it was quite high end enough to go with corrosion resistant steel. I was always tempted to go for a space frame, but I didn't think sort of at this time period. I think things were starting to move towards monocoques. Maybe it's a bit early still. Although once you add on engineering time and stuff, I think monocoque would make sense for the time period. I'm sort of thinking of Aston Martins, Ferraris and things. Well, I'm thinking of things like the Ferrari Dino and stuff like that, which admittedly actually isn't a GT car, but it's sort of that time period about a decade later. I don't know a lot about older cars. I sort of anything before about sort of late 60s I sort of don't know too much about. Maybe I should have done a bit more research, but at the time I thought I was going to do it live, so I'll have that at least. Yeah, anyway, I'd say everything about this is pretty standard. Double wishbone front and rear, just sort of in automation you sort of need to get decent scores. I think in the campaign's a bit different. Almost 90 months of engineering time, maybe not the best. Admittedly, it would be, obviously you'd change it a bit, it'd be lower production, stuff like that, but still, yeah, not exactly fantastic. Anyway, engine, inline 6 to make it nice and smooth. Since smoothness is a concern, you can see that 5% for the GT. category. Yeah, so 2.7, maybe a bit small. Direct active overhead cam as well. Cast block aluminium head. I felt that was sort of realistic. Maybe they'd prefer. Yeah, they would prefer the aluminium block. But yeah, I was trying to sort of go realistic as well. Although maybe thinking about mixing materials, not the best idea in terms of engineering time. Although I suppose it doesn't matter since this is still going to get engineered way quicker than the chassis. Everything just cast fairly sort of middle of the road cam rail setup, slightly sporty. I'd say it's got a decent power curve, 160 horsepower. I think is enough for the time. I am running it on super fuel, so I can get away with quite high compression and ignition timing. Also running it very rich, or quite rich, I'd say, at least. Not quite max AFR for a 2-barrel, but still decent, and the intakes aren't restricted or anything. It's kind of low revving, less than 6,000, but that's sort of valve float restricted. I could maybe push up to 6,000, but at the end of the day, I don't really need to. And then tubular headers and just a single reverse flow. 40 loudness, not too crazy for the time period, I think. Going over to the chassis, it's a 3-speed. I was trying to control wheel spin. Unfortunately, as you'll, well, not really see later, it doesn't really show it. Someone, after I made this, someone asked if they could take it onto BeamNG to set a lap. So, yeah, I decided to do that. And, yeah, they found out that the first gear is sort of overgeared. I originally geared it for 62 and then lowered the rev limit as I was fine-tuning it, making the engine a bit bigger, and yeah, sort of messed that up, but sort of worked out, because if I actually gear it for 62 now, it's too long. Really, if anything, that's geared way too long. But yeah, 118 miles an hour it sort of tops out at. Open diff. I think if I could go back, change it for a 4-speed, but I'm going to keep everything as it is. Sports compound 185 front and rear with 15-inch wheels. Maybe a bit big for this. Again, I'm not really sure about period correct tyre sizes. I just go with whatever the game lets me have, and that seemed pretty sensible. So yeah, front brakes do not lock up at all. Another big issue with this actually when driving in BeamNG. But yeah, you know, the brake bias is way too far towards the back. But it is what the stats want. Really, I could have gone a bit more extreme if I was really trying to go for stats, but this was sort of a good balance for stopping distance, although maybe not the safest, since the back wheels lock up so easily and the fronts don't. It sort of works like a handbrake. But yeah, lower the cooling airflow a bit, trying to drag out a bit more top speed from this thing. And you say a bit of engineering time, I suppose, but didn't bother with any cladding of any kind. Gave it a nice and fancy interior, because that's what I want. Because I do care about comfort a fair amount, not quite as much as sportiness or prestige, but this factors into prestige, so it does help to have it. And then just a pretty standard setup here. Anyone for standard safety probably would prefer advanced. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every demographic loves having some decent safety. So yeah, but kept it at standard, even though it's really only 18 kilograms more. I think I'd take that for that sort of boost, looking at it now. But yeah, and I sort of tried to give it a sportiness setup. Maybe not the best suspension setup looking at it now, and pro progressive springs, yeah, they'd prefer that a lot more. But yeah, I don't know, at the time it seemed like a decent setup. Performance-wise, I don't know, it's nothing outstanding, but it's a GT car. It literally exists to sit at 70 miles an hour and do great distances effortlessly. Maybe going for a automatic would have made more sense then. No, interestingly, although maybe I'd have to adjust the gearing since there's a lot more power loss, and maybe actually put in a bigger engine, make it a bit lazier. But yeah, as it is, this was a decent attempt, I suppose. I'm going to take it into BeamNG. I'll try and keep a leaderboard with the way that it's working, as I'll explain in the video, I suppose. Yeah, it's not quite as easy because the way I'm importing the replays and stuff, and it doesn't show the lap time. But yeah, I tried at least to make it work. But yeah, anyway, on to that. Alright then, just one more thing. Basically, after I sort of showed that I was doing that on my Discord server, so somebody came to me and basically said, can I drive it? I'll probably put like a link to their channel description and stuff like that. Friend of mine. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, have a lap of it going around the Hirochi short circuit. I don't know the time because I got the replay sent to me. We might make this a thing after every one of these builds, but yeah. Why isn't it? Oh, I need to click on the thing. Yeah, so I'm just going to try and time it as best I can, or not. Okay, we're going to have to detract a second there because I'm sort of using a stopwatch and hit it when I press play rather than when the car started moving. Yeah, I haven't actually seen Short or Hirochi Raceway at all, and apparently they've updated the visuals, so this is quite cool to see. Anyway, yeah, I've been told that apparently the first gear is totally overgeared. Nice. Taking some curb there. Yeah, more curb, just going straight off the track. Yeah, track does look good. I've been told that basically just totally overgeared it, and you sort of need to really be careful on the clutch just to get it to start moving. So, maybe an issue there. And apparently, well, it's an open diff car, and I mean, BeamNG doesn't have the greatest of handling, in my opinion, or easiest at least. So, yeah, it was kind of tail happy, as you can see. Still though, I don't know, it's going alright. Did notice a couple things, mainly the lights don't work so well, the LEDs don't look so good, but yeah, I think it doesn't look too bad in BeamNG as we come around the final corner with a bit of a slide. Missed the pause, it did like a 118. Don't crash it now. No, he spun it, didn't hit a wall. Yet. And some victory donuts, I guess. So yeah, the actual end of the video. I guess, unless I edit out the outro, which I might have done. Yeah, well, if I did, you know, subscribe, leave a like, etc. And yeah, until next video, I don't know, goodbye.